On today's show, the LA Clippers face the Oklahoma City Thunder before they return home. Can they put an end? And how can they put an end to Oklahoma City's winning streak? Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA and in my 20th season as a Clipper fan. Been covering the Clippers for 5 seasons now on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, and 3 seasons now here on Locked On Clippers. You can subscribe to both channels on YouTube and listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. And Locked On Clippers now has a daily newsletter. Just go to lockedondaily.com and sign up. It's written by yours truly, and it would really be appreciated if you did. Brief newsletter on your Clippers. That's lockedondaily.com. In this episode, going to be talking about the OKC game briefly. By the time you listen to this, it might have already happened. And also, because we're playing them for the third time and they're just rolling right now and I never talk about it, I think it's worth spending a segment talking about the trade and how it looks right now, in hindsight. And then the last game of Kawhi, or of no Kawhi Leonard. What does that mean? So let's begin with the OKC game. Look, we got that win against the Pels, and we lost to San Antonio. So this is the third game. I even said, if we go 1-2 on this little 3-game road trip, we're 19-15 coming back home. I'll take that all day long. Now, the last game was an abomination. We didn't even come out and try. It was a joke. So I expect higher effort on Thursday. Now, I should start by saying that James Harden is questionable for the game with a groin strain or groin soreness. And it's, that's why he missed that one game a couple weeks back. So something to monitor. I've had groin injuries. I've recently gotten over it in the last year, but I had a lingering groin injury for a minute. And I wouldn't even call it an injury, but, I just pulled it, didn't stretch one time. It's probably that similar kind of feeling for James. Doesn't want to aggravate it. But it also could just be code talk for giving him an extra game of rest, knowing that, we're probably not going to beat OKC. They're on a 12-game winning streak right now, not counting that game against the Milwaukee Bucks that they lost in the in-season tournament final. Yeah, 12-game winning streak. They're 27-5. This is a good team. We're 0-2 against them so far this season. But here's one thing that we did not have this season when we played them. Chris Dunn starting. And I think our best basketball has been played with Chris Dunn starting. And I'm a Terrence Mann fan. Everybody knows he's my favorite player on the team. But Chris Dunn has objectively been better than Terrence this year, and when he has started, we have been the best version of ourselves. So I'm not saying that that's going to be the difference. Chris Dunn's going to start, we're going to beat them, but who knows? Maybe it is. I just think that gives us a higher chance. Now, when you want to talk about the Thunder, the conversation starts with our old friend Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is, for the second consecutive season, putting his name right up there with the best in the MVP conversation this year. Honestly, so I thought he deserved it last year, given that the Thunder were the number 1 seed and nobody expected that. Nobody in a million years had the Oklahoma City Thunder as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference last year. And a lot of that's because of SGA. Most of it is, quite frankly. This season is doing the same stuff, so this will be a true test of our point of attack defense that I and many others have been raving about. Right now, we're 4th in defensive rating in the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder, however, we're 5th in the NBA. By 0.1, the Memphis Grizzlies are ahead of us. We're 108.4, they're 108.3. And defensive rating, for those that don't know, is just points per 100 possessions. Oklahoma City Thunder are the number 1 team in defensive rating by a significant amount, 102.9. Their point of attack defense, their athleticism is fantastic. And what I think is most impressive about them is that they're able to still be the best defensive team in the league without Isaiah Hartenstein for the beginning of the season, and then Chet Holmgren has been out for so long, and they still have maintained it. But looking at our defense, I think this is where, we're a top 5 defensive team in the league too. Let's see if we can make life tough on SGA, because that's where it starts. If you make life tough on SGA, that forces those other guys to beat you. And the one of the flaws that this OKC team has is they don't have many high-level creators. They have creators. Aaron Wiggins can create a little bit. Isaiah Hartenstein can play make out of the high post. But Jalen Williams is really their only other creator, especially without Chet Holmgren. But these two, they do a great job. But I think it starts with if we can limit SGA and just make life tough for him, which easier said than done. And I say that meaning not throw 2 bodies at him, actually. How good can we be one-on-one? Because SGA likes to ISO, and he's maybe the best isolation player in the league right now. I would probably say he is. And how well can Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., and these guys do? How much is he relentlessly going to seek out James Harden and Norman Powell on those switches? Or if James Harden even plays. To be honest, if James Harden doesn't play, I wonder who we're going to start. It would be interesting if we go with like a Chris Dunn, all defense kind of look, where we go Chris Dunn, Amir Coffey, Derrick, Norman Zoo. I wouldn't be totally, because then the only guy you can really try to pick on there is Norm. But, SGA, I have a feeling that Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn are going to have their hands full, and I'm going to be like watching the game and saying, yeah, there's nothing you can do about this guy with one guy. Last year in the playoffs, he averaged 30-plus points on efficient shooting against Dallas when they lost. It was more so that Jalen Williams didn't do enough. It was his first time in the playoffs. He didn't know, being a second option on a Western Conference Finals team, that's a lot. That's a lot. And Chet Holmgren wasn't ready for that as well. It was basically a rookie. So that's where we got to try to make it tough. Can we stay in front? Can we do a good job at the point of attack getting over screens? Well, last time we played them, we lost by a score of 134 to 128. We actually competed. We still had Terrence Mann starting at this time. And in the game, you had a really good Zoo game, 22 and 14 on 75% shooting. Norm had 31. So you got really good games from them. James Harden even had a near triple-double. He was 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 dimes. But he shot 5 for 15 from the field. But granted, we shot super well. 55% from the field and 54% from 3, and lost by 6. I think free throws, though, were something that's something we've cleaned up from the beginning of the season. But this was one of the games that we didn't do a good job shooting free throws. We were 20 for 29 from the line. They were 22 for 23. So that made a difference in a 6-point game. Zoo missed 2, Harden missed 1, Terrence missed 1, Norm missed 2, and KPJ missed 1. So free throws, I think that's something I can trust us to be better about now. And on their side, they shot pretty well too. 52% from the field and 39 from 3. And SGA had 45. And Jalen Williams had 28. So if we can just limit SGA to maybe not 45, maybe we can win. I don't know. So it all starts with limiting SGA. That's what I have to say. But coming up, speaking of SGA, let's revisit the reason he became a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. What do we think of it now, looking back? Just how bad was it? Or was it the move we should have made all along? I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets to any sort of event. I love going to live events, especially sports games. And I have great memories at sports games, now, back then. I know I'll have some more in the future with my family, without my family, with my Clipper family, with my Dodger family. Doesn't matter. It's the best. And now Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite games with their new feature, Game Time Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right. Clippers Thunder on Thursday night. Hopefully, by the time you listen to this, we've won, or, hopefully you do listen to it before the game. But, regardless, when we talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you see that they're 27-5 and are on pace to be the first seed in the Western Conference for their second consecutive year, I can't say it doesn't hurt. And I know people don't love to hear quote-unquote negative topics on Locked On Clippers, especially with how well we're playing this season. But this is Locked On Clippers, not Locked On Fantasyland. And I think the point of this show, and for any show that talks about a team, is to talk about the good and the bad. Because there's always good and the bad in sports. And this is something that I don't talk about. So, look, it's really hard to see the Thunder best two players with Jalen Williams and SGA are players that they got from us. SGA, of course, donned the Clipper uniform, and Jalen Williams was taken with a pick that we gave them. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Now, going back, if we're the Clippers, right, if I'm the Clippers, do I make that trade? Absolutely 10 times out of 10. Because of Kawhi. Not because of Paul George, because of Kawhi. If that's what Kawhi was demanding, that we needed to get another star, and Paul George is the star that we could get, then we got to make it happen. You're becoming a history-making team by acquiring the recent Finals MVP, the current Finals MVP, and switching teams. Getting him to switch teams. That's historic. That's something that you can never blame the Clippers for, in my opinion. Now, Kawhi, that's a different story. He could have been more patient. He didn't have to come in with demands like that. And we could have been a very solid team right away. And we could have also played till the deadline and made a move. I mean, it was a lot, right? Kawhi was, holding the Clippers' hand and saying, look, I'm going to use the Raptors and the Lakers as leverage. You need to get me a second guy or else I'm not trying to come. And Paul George was that guy. And we gave up a lot. Did we think that SGA would turn into this? That's hindsight. You know what I'm saying? No way. I think we all believed that SGA would be good. I was very high on him. I was very happy that we got a player that had all-star potential, but this is beyond all-star potential. This is all-time great potential. He's scoring 30 points with ease season in, season out like the all-time greats did. We're not talking a Bradley Beal one-off. We're talking a McGrady, a Harden, a Kobe. This kind of consistency. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony. Consistency. Scoring the basketball. Is SGA going to be a number one option on a championship team? I don't know, but he is going to be right in the conversation to be a guy that gets the opportunities to do so. And that absolutely is heartbreaking, especially with, being a mid-range killer. He plays the game the way I like, except for, he is a little bit of a foul baiter, but I think a lot of time it's just dudes aren't guarding without fouling, and the rules today are geared towards perimeter guys getting calls. So, it's just the nature of it. But, yeah, he definitely foul baits a bit. My thing is, in hindsight, of course you wouldn't make the move knowing that Kawhi is going to get hurt, but we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know that. So, should we have made the move? Absolutely. Is it fair to blame Kawhi a bit for coming in with demands? I think absolutely as well. Did we ever think SJ was going to get like this? I didn't. This is insane. Jalen Williams, they also struck gold on that pick. That was a pick that they made. Of course, they didn't have it without the trade, but that's a lot of their, good scouting on the Thunder's part. So it's tough, man. It's tough. So this is also how I would define a trade, though. It doesn't matter what the expectation is. It matters what happens after the trade. So even though the Lakers got Marc Gasol, and we never thought Marc Gasol would be that great, the Lakers won the trade because Pau Gasol won championships for them. So even though it wasn't a bad trade for Memphis, they ended up getting Marc, and he was one of the best players ever for them. Maybe their GOAT, who knows? Depending on what Memphis fans think. We don't talk to them, though. Except for this one guy I know from Twitter, but yeah, the Lakers won that trade. The Knicks, despite the fact that the Denver Nuggets had that 2013 season that was their most wins in franchise history, they lost in the first round after Gallinari got hurt. Also, underrated Clipper, Danilo Gallinari. The Knicks won the Melo trade, even though they gave up a lot. Actually, no, they didn't, because the Nuggets ended up getting Jamal Murray from that trade, so never mind. The Nuggets ended up winning that trade. It matters what happens, right? Let's look at the Clippers trade against the Thunder. First season after the trade, Clippers are much better. So 1-0 Clippers. Second year after the trade, we get to the conference finals, they're in the gutter. So 2-0 Clippers. 2022 season, we're still better than them. Make the play and they don't. 3-0 Clippers. 2022-23 season, they lose in the play-in to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we got to the first round and lost. 4-0 Clippers. 2024, they made it to the second round. We lost in the first, and they finished with a high record. So 4-1, and they're probably going to make it 4-2 this year. But until they get to the conference finals, they have not won this trade. Until they get to the conference finals, they have not won this trade. Do I think they're going to win the trade? Yes, of course. Do I think they're going to win the championship? I don't know. Championships are really, really hard to win. So that's what I have to say about that. But if you're the Clippers, you have to do it, man. You have to do it. It's just unfortunate how it's gone. We as fans have gotten bad luck because of Kawhi's health. Now, was I ecstatic about the Paul George part of the trade even when it happened? Not really. I watched the playoffs the last 2018 and 2019 and missed me with those excuses that the Clipper fans were making for Paul George when they first got him. Those same people are going to say everything that I was saying back then after getting a sample size of having him on his team, having him on our team for 5 years. By the way, did anybody see the Sixers collapse against Sacramento on Wednesday? Paul George was playing like Paul George. Coming up, though, going to talk about why this is such an important game and potentially a big turning point in this season. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways to pick up a W. And let me tell you something that's really special about this year's NFL playoffs. The Chargers and the Rams are both in it. This is the first time in the SoFi era that has happened, and I'm ecstatic about it. I'm ecstatic. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorite for the Super Bowl, plus 360. And then you got the Detroit Lions at plus 470. An LA team doesn't come in till number 10 with the Rams at plus 3,500. And then the Chargers also plus 3,500. Those are Super Bowl odds. Now, just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Clippers, Thunder, Thursday night hoops. Third game and final game of a little 3-game road trip before we return home for what is set to be. We haven't heard any update on it, but I'm hoping it's the case because I'm going to the game and I won't be at the next home game. Kawhi Leonard's season debut, his first game at Intuit Dome. A momentous occasion. Now, we've had some Kawhi returns in the past. For the Clippers, the first one that comes to mind is 2022-23 against the Lakers, and he came off the bench. I do not want to see that in any capacity. Home opener, same thing. Came off the bench after the first quarter. We were already down. I do not want to see that in any capacity. If we are going to suffer because we're trying to get Kawhi back into the swing of things, let's suffer to start the game. Let's get him right into the swing of things as a starter. Honestly, I think it's better to have him at home, just so he has that home crowd behind him. It's just like, it's going to be nice. He can ease into it a little better. I really just hope it's Saturday, because if it's next weekend, I can't come. This is our last game, supposedly, without Kawhi, in terms of, before he returns. We're going to play other games without Kawhi Leonard, obviously, but before he returns, and whether we win or lose. I mean, if we win, Getting Kawhi back next game, I mean, that's going to be an amazing high to come back home from, beating the Thunder and ending their winning streak. But the more likely scenario, just keeping it objective, is that we lose this game, most likely, especially if James Harden doesn't play. And we come home 19-15 after 34 games. That would be amazing. Now, is Kawhi going to play 48 games? No. I already talked about that last episode. He's not going to play 48 games. But if we could even get 41 games, and he's playing his best basketball going into the playoffs, I mean, that is just special. How many times you see a guy in NBA history play less than 50 games and he's playing his best going into the playoffs, and the team is in a good position? That would be something different, and something that a lot of fans had suggested before they even knew how long he was out. And probably some of those fans still think that this was the Clippers' plan all along, was to rest Kawhi till Christmas, or rest Kawhi till the All-Star break, or rest Kawhi till the first half of the season. So, I mean, I don't think that was their plan all along. I think he was genuinely out. I don't think Kawhi just voluntarily doesn't want to play if he's healthy. But, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It is exciting that we can hopefully get Kawhi back. There was his second return in 2023 was against the Charlotte Hornets. That game he ended up hitting a game winner. And then last year we didn't like his return. That was the game 2 against the Mavs, and he just didn't look good. But, I mean, the last game without Kawhi, hopefully. Man, I'm excited for that Saturday game. Atlanta Hawks, they've been playing some good ball. This season, but and they'll have some bodies to throw at Kawhi. DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson. But, man, imagine into a dome for that kind of night. First game of the new year. No, everyone knows Kawhi might be coming back. I wonder when we're going to hear the news that whether he's playing or not. Probably not till Saturday. But the excitement is palpable. And hopefully with this James Harden groin thing doesn't get any worse. I hope that he's okay. If we need to just sit him, man, we'll take the L. Scheduled loss, as they say. But I hate that term. I hate that term when it comes to sitting out players. Although, if James Harden is actually, feeling discomfort, let's not, just let him just rest for Saturday. Saturday's a big game. We want, and Kawhi might not, even if he does play, he'll probably be very rusty. He's going to be on a minutes restriction. It's still going to be the James Harden show, which this season has been, and the Norman Powell show. By the way, all-star voting returns are in, and James Harden and Norman Powell both in the top 10 for guards in the West. You love to see Norman Powell getting that recognition. James Harden's going to get it because he's got, cult following. He's a legend. But Norman Powell getting in the top 10, shout out to everybody voting for him. I haven't even voted. But you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for all things LA sports and Clippers and NBA, and Locked On Clippers. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure if you can't watch on YouTube, you're listening on audio, and of course vice versa. If you can't listen on audio, YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. Let's get this channel up to 7,000 subscribers by the end of January. That's our new goal. Let's get it up to 7,000 subscribers by the end of January. Spread the word. Tell your Clipper fan friends. I mean, even if you don't agree with everything I say, if we're all Clipper fans, let's support each other, no? Support Locked On Clips. We're competing against the rest of the league. But anyway, let's see how this goes against the Thunder. Score prediction, let's go with 105 to 111 Clippers. My realistic prediction, 91 to 105 Thunder. But I'm going to go with, we're going to go with the heart, not the head. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers. I'm hungry.